Good day, everyone. Welcome to Direct Stars. Our subject is physics, where our topic for today is particle model of matter, while the subtopic is density. Aim of today's lesson is for you to understand how to use the density equation to calculate mass or the volume of an object. Objective of today's lesson is for you to know how to define density, to know the formula, explain the difference between density and mass, then calculate density using the formula. Firstly, what do we mean by the word density? Density. Now think of it. Any builder knows that concrete post is much heavier than a wooden post of the same size. When we say the same size is different from same weight, okay? So this is because density of a concrete is much greater than the density of a wood. Why? The volume of 1 cubic meter of wood has a mass of 800 kg, but for a concrete, it has like 2,400 kg. That's like times 3. So that is why the density of a concrete is about 3 times the density of a wood. So what is density? We can define density of a substance as mass per unit volume. What does that mean? That means the mass of the substance per the volume of that substance. That is what we call density. That is why density. Now, density is represented by this symbol, which is rho, okay? Which is rho, that is mass over volume. Mass over volume. So this is density. While mass is measured in kilogram and volume is measured in meter cube. So now that makes density, okay, that makes density as the unit of kilogram per meter cube. Kilogram per meter cube, okay? So now, firstly, what is mass? A mass is the amount of matter in an object, okay? And how do we calculate mass? We use beam balance to calculate the mass of an object. So what is volume? A volume is the amount of space occupied by an object, the length, the breadth, and the height of that object, while density is the mass per unit volume of a substance. So now, how do we calculate this? Because sometimes we can have our volume in centimeter and we can also have our mass in gram. Remember that 1,000 gram make 1 kilogram. 1,000 gram equals to 1 kilogram. That is kilo. Remember that kilo means 1,000. Okay, so and 100 centimeter make 1 meter. Okay, so 100 centimeter make 1 meter. So if we have volume in centimeter, then we know how to calculate it in meter. Okay, that's 100 centimeter make 1 meter. Remember, this is meter cube, not ordinary meter. So if it is meter cube, that is meter times meter times meter. Okay, so if we want to convert 1 meter cube, 1 meter cube is equals to 100 multiplied by 100 multiplied by 100 centimeter. Okay, so all these we make it as centimeter cube. That is how to convert meter to centimeter cube. 100 centimeter make 1 meter. Now we have triple of this meter. So that's 100 times 100 times 100. That is centimeter cube. So if you want to convert 100 centimeter to meter cube, then you divide it by 1,000,000. That is how to convert centimeter to meter. So let's dive into examples. Okay, examples. Now we have this. A wooden post has a volume of 0.025 meter cube. What does that mean? That's V, which is 0.025 meter cube. That is the volume. And a mass of 20 kilogram. You can see that the unit there is standard. So the mass is 20 kilogram. Remember, density is mass per unit volume. So we have density. This is how to represent density. You can also write it as capital D, but here we have standard. We have it as, this is what we call rho, R-H-O, rho. That is the symbol of density, equals to mass over volume. Mass over volume. So remember, the mass here is 20 kilogram. while the volume is 0.025. 0.025. So the question is, what is 20 kilogram divided by 0.025 meter cube? Then our final answer is 800 kilogram per meter cube. 800 kilogram per meter cube. And what if we have another example again? Aluminium has a density. Now, yeah, in this question, we have been given density already. We have been given density, which is 2,700 kilogram per meter cube. Now, the question says calculate the volume. So we want to find the unit of the volume when the mass of the aluminium is 135 grams. So the mass is 135 grams. So we want to calculate the volume. We just need to go back to the formula. Rho equals to M over V. Then make V sorry to the formula, we cross multiply. Then we have rho V equals to N. Then divide both sides by rho. Then we have our answer that V, which is the volume, equals to mass over rho. So how do we go with that? That means the mass. What's the mass? 135 grams. The mass is given in grams. So we want to have gram to kilogram, then we'll divide it by 1,000. So that makes it 0.135 kilogram. 0.135 kilogram. So we have 0.135 divided by the density, which is 2,700. 2,700. So V equals to, so what is 0.135 divided by 2,700? So that gives us 5 times 10 raised to the power of minus, times 10 raised to the power of minus 5. And recall that volume as the unit of meter cube. Volume as the unit of meter cube. So the key concept in this topic is density equals to mass over volume, while density as the unit of kilogram per meter cube. That will be the end of today's class. And please don't forget to click on the subscribe button and share. We'll meet in our next class. Bye.